Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. This time, we're going to be taking a look at Mega Man The Wily Wars. No, to start off, these are not going to be full playthroughs of Mega Man The Wily Wars. I already did a Let's Play of Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, and Mega Man 3, which is pretty much what Wily Wars is. It's a compilation of those three games remade for the Sega Genesis. So, instead of 8-bit, it's now 16-bit. Excuse me. I'm taking a look at this because it's pretty different from the NES versions of the games. There's quite a few things to talk about. So, first of all, I'm taking a look at both the Japanese version and the PAL version because the Japanese version runs at 60 FPS a second, the PAL version at 50 FPS a second, and that does actually cause some pretty big differences between the two games, which I will be talking about as we get into the three individual games. Like I said, these are not full playthroughs. I am doing exactly one level for the Japanese version of that game, one level for the PAL version of the game, so 6 levels total. Mega Man 1, I'm doing one level in the Japanese version, one level in the PAL version. Mega Man 2, one level in the Japanese version, one level in the PAL version, etc., etc., etc. The real reason I'm going to be taking a look at this is because after you beat the first 3 Mega Man games, you actually unlock a special sub-campaign, a special little epilogue to the original Mega Man trilogy, if you will, called Mega Man The Wily Tower, which includes 3 brand new Robot Masters and a brand new Wily Tower to go through. So that's pretty much why I'm doing this in the first place, because there is actually brand new content in this game. But you have to work your way through and beat the first 3 Mega Man games again to unlock it, or, use a special code, which I used. Link in the description to that code. But yeah, Rockman Mega World, or Mega Man The Wily Wars, as it's known here in the States. Pretty good compilation of games. Differences, again, we'll be getting into them as we actually start playing the games, but I'll list a few of them right now. There's some pretty intense lag in some parts, especially the PAL version with the 50 FPS a second, which actually makes some stuff easier, like the Yellow Devil boss fights, especially the one in Mega Man 3, as opposed to the one in Mega Man 1. The one in Mega Man 3 becomes a lot easier because there's a lot of lag and a lot of time to dodge all the Yellow Devil blobs. A lot of special weapons, especially bladed weapons like Shadow Blade, Metal Blade, now have a can't move function. I mean, Metal Blade always kind of had that, but now Shadow Blade has that too, which didn't really have in Mega Man 3, the NES version. So yeah, as Dr. Light mimes his way through explaining what Mega Man is and what robotics are, I don't know why he's miming there. I am going to go over some more differences between the two versions of the game. What else? Oh, shots. Ooh. That's something you're going to be seeing in all 3 of the Mega Man games, but the shots are very, very... they're slower than they were in the NES versions of the games. They're much slower in the Japanese and PAL versions of the games, which makes some things a little bit more difficult, some things a little bit more easier, because some enemies speed up, some enemies slow down. Things are very different in the Genesis version of the games than they are in the NES versions of the game. Mega Man The Wily Wars. Good title music. I like this. It's a good soundtrack overall. It's a good remix of all the classic themes. Personally, most of these themes I do prefer their 8-bit versions, but a lot of these things I do like the Genesis tunes for them. Especially all the stuff they came up with for the Wily Tower. That's good stuff. That is some good Mega Man style music. So yes, if you want to skip over and just see all the new stuff that Mega Man The Wily Wars has to offer, then check out Part 2 of this, because Part 1 is just going to be going over the 3 games and covering what the differences are between the NES versions and in between the Japanese and PAL versions of the same game. So, yeah. Anyway, let's jump into the next big thing. There is a save function in this game, as opposed to in the NES versions where it's all passwords. Now, finally, save function. Yay, both versions, 'cause, one's Mega Man, one's Rockman. Oh, I know. Ooh, what a big difference. Next up, your game select screen. Woo! Rockman, Rockman 2, Rockman 3. They don't have their Japanese subtitles here in the game select screen, but once you actually get into the games themselves, they do actually have their Japanese subtitles. So Rockman 2 is Rockman 2, Dr. Wily no Nazo. Rockman 3 is Rockman 3, the end of Dr. Wily, all that stuff. There's the PAL version, you know, same thing, but with Mega Man. Oh, I know, what a huge, life-changing difference that I just had to show you. Ugh. Anyway, now that we're all done with this, we're going to get into the first game, the original Mega Man, the Japanese version first. So, Rockman. Let's jump right in and get into the first big difference between this Rockman and the NES version of Rockman. There's actually a theme tune, and it's not just a blank black screen with the word Mega Man on it, like it was in the original NES days. We got rock there, we got the word Rockman. Looks cool. I believe the Japanese version of the NES version of Rockman was, had this screen as well, so you'll notice that all three games take a lot more from their Japanese NES titles than they do from the American NES titles, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. You'll also notice that the theme tune for Rockman, because the original Rockman game did not have a theme in the title screen, but now it does. This is the Mega Man 3 title screen theme. So they're just reusing it for Mega Man 2. I mean, the original Mega Man. Mega Man 2 has its own theme, which we'll get into later. And there's the original NES screen to compare. You'll be seeing that a lot. These levels, I figured I'd show something different, so in the bottom left, you're going to be seeing the comparison between Genesis version and NES version. So, yeah. Woo! Cutman! Gives a lot less points than the Genesis version, I just noticed. Well, anyway, welcome back to Cutman's stage. No bio. I did bios in the original versions of the games. I'm not doing them again. Those... If you want more bios, I'm going to be doing them in part 2 when I talk about the Genesis unit. Those Robot Masters in particular. But not these guys. We've already fought these guys. So what did I say earlier? Oh yeah. Slower shots. Mega Man does shoot slower both in the Japanese version and the PAL version, especially the PAL version. You also notice that the whole palette and sprites and background work, it looks very, very nice. This is a very good upgrade of the original Mega Man games. A lot of people still could cite the original Mega Man games as better overall because it just has that more fluid pace and speed to it that the Genesis versions, as good as they are, just don't match the pace and speed of the NES Mega Man games. As you'll see now and again when when the NES version of the game pops up in the bottom left side of the screen. So, again, not to say the Genesis version is bad, just different. And if you grew up playing the NES games and then jumped over to the Genesis games, then it's probably a kind of jarring shift. It'd also be a jarring shift if you grew up in the Genesis version of the game and then jumped over to the NES versions of the game. It would be quite jarring indeed. So what other differences are there, specifically with the original Mega Man game? Well, first of all, you probably noticed in the stage select screen that we didn't have sprites of the Robot Masters anymore. They were actual, portraits like they are in Mega Man 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the other ones. They weren't updated, so they gave them portraits. Other things you should probably take note of. The pause-unpause glitch that helps you beat Yellow Devil oh so quickly in this game does not exist in the Genesis version of the game. So you can't do it in the Genesis version of the game, unfortunately. Some Robot Master AIs are slightly different. You'll be seeing that with Cutman. You'll also be seeing that with Bomb Man as we take him on in the PAL version of the game. The spikes in this game don't actually kill you immediately like they did in the original Mega Man game, and I think that's it. There's probably more, but I'll mention it in the next stage, because now we got Cutman. And Cutman is actually pretty different from the NES version. First of all, he takes a lot less damage. Instead of taking 3 bars of health per every Mega Man pellet shot, he only takes 1. So it makes the fight a lot longer. Like I said earlier, the Robot Master AIs are slightly different with some robots. We'll see it more with Bomb Man, but Cutman is a little bit better at aiming his rolling cutter at you than he was in the NES version of the game. His jumps are a lot more I don't know, they just seem more difficult to dodge. It probably just has to do with the fact that you're fighting him for longer in the Genesis version of the game than the NES version of the game, because the NES version of the game, you beat him pretty quick, that it doesn't really matter if he does damage to you. In this game, as you see, I almost die, because he almost got me. It was close. But not close enough. I win again, Cupman. Sweet water. And yeah, that's Cupman. And we're going to go back to the stage select, and again you'll see the portraits of all the Robot Masters. You'll also see the save screen, because no passwords, finally. But yeah, here's all the portraits of the Robot Masters, so... Yay! Portraits, not sprites. Anyway, let's jump over to the PAL version of the game, and check out the original Mega Man. So the 50 FPS per second, the 50 FPS per second thing that the PAL version has, that most European, well not most, all European games have. I believe, as I was reading, this has something to do with... It has something to do with something called PAL conversion, which in Europe makes games play at 50 Hz, instead of here in America or in other regions of the world where they play at the normal expected 60 Hz. So, as a result, games are 50 FPS a second in Europe for some reason. I actually didn't know that, so learn something new every day. It's actually what made me play the Japanese version for the Wily Tower mini-campaign in Part 2, because I wanted to play at the full 60 FPS per second experience and not be hampered by that 50 FPS per second experience, so I played Rockman Megaforce. Although then I wanted to compare the two games, so then I had to play the Wily Wars version. Ugh. I had to record a lot of stuff, is my ultimate point. Yeah. Anyway, PAL version of the game, we're not going to take on the same Robot Master, we're going to take on Bomb Man. Woo! You notice in the background, instead of it saying Mega Man, instead of it saying Rockman, it says Mega Man, and stuff like that. Anyway, as a result of the FPS, Wily Wars runs slower in the European version, which causes an already slowed down Mega Buster to be even slower. It just gives it an odd pace that I'm not a fan of in comparison to the Japanese 60 FPS per second. Because the Japanese 60 FPS per second version has some differences, and yeah, it does change gameplay up a little bit, but you can still deal with it. Whereas this one, it's a little bit, I don't know, it's just a little bit too off for my tastes. When I play a Mega Man game, I want it to be at 60 FPS. I want it to be running at its full optimal capacity, although it does help for some situations like this, where the shots are actually too slow to catch up to Mega Man, so I can actually climb up the ladder in time and get away, so that's pretty cool. That was nice. That was a nice surprise as I was playing that. I was actually able to get by that. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't get shot. That's really cool. Sniper Joe, though, is more annoying, so that kind of killed my joy. Thanks, Sniper Joe. Actually, this part's a little bit weird, because Sniper Joe actually respawns and jumps back. Oh my... God damn you, Sniper Joe. Stupid goddamn. Anyway, I don't show it off, but this game does have a... Does it? Oh no, you know what? I'm wrong. Well, I might not be wrong, but I think it has a way to quit your game and go back to the game select screen, pick between Mega Man 2, and Mega Man 3. It might not, though. I could be wrong. I have to look into that, but I'm too lazy to look into that. There might be a button that lets you, go back to game select. There might not be. You might have to kill yourself or turn the game off and turn it back on, or go back to your save in order to go back to the game select screen when you're in the middle of one of the 3 games. So, I could look it up, but too lazy. Anyway, like I said before, spikes don't kill you in one, well, they still kill you in one hit, but if you get hit and have the invincibility frames, spikes, once again, as they should, do not kill you. You are safe if you have the invincibility frames, which is very nice. Something that every single subsequent Mega Man game after the original NES version did. But the original NES version actually still killed you in one hit with spikes. Even if you had invincibility frames, which is a little bit bullshit in my head, but whatever. Anyway, we're at the end of Bomberman stage. Last Sniper Joe. Come on, you goddamn idiot. Come on. Come on, go down. And there we go. Cool. Got a life. We're in. You see, once again, because of the different pace of the game, that I get hit there. Whatever. Anyway, Bomberman. Slightly different Robot Master AI, once again. In the original NES version of the game, Bomberman likes to keep his distance from you. But in the Genesis version of the game, he does not. He likes to get up close and personal and throw bombs right in your face, whereas NES Bomberman like to jump away and throw bombs at you from a distance. So, be careful of that. Because once again, he almost kicks my ass. Jesus, that was close. But I still got him in the end, because I am the Mega Man Master. No, I'm not. I'm not that good at Mega Man. I mean, I'm pretty good at Mega Man, but not that good. I can't do any no-hit runs or buster-only runs. I play how I play, and I have fun. And that's pretty much all I want. Anyway, that's it for the original Mega Man. Now we're gonna move on to Mega Man 2. Sorry, Rockman 2. Dr. Wily no Nazo. The mystery. Yeah, the mystery of Dr. Wily, because he's an alien, but no, he's not. He's not an alien. He's just a cheap charlatan trying to trick a robot. Clearly doesn't work. Why would you try to trick a goddamn robot? Anyway, let's get into the differences with Mega Man 2. The first one you'll notice as soon as we get to the actual start screen. So, let's pan straight up to the roof. Do, 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 do. Perhaps he is there and flaunting his hair. Rockman 2, Dr. Wily no Nazo. So, no difficulty select like in the original NES version. Well, the American NES version. Like I said, these games take a lot more from their Japanese counterparts than they do from their American counterparts. So, there's no difficulty select in Rockman. Or Rockman 2, or Rockman 3, or whatever. There was a difficulty select in Mega Man 2, but they got rid of it for the Genesis version. Not just the Japanese version, the PAL version as well does not have a difficulty select. So, get used to playing it on difficult, as it should be. AKA, difficult is the Japanese normal, so get used to playing it on difficult mode. And he's gone. Alright. So, our first look, we're going to be taking on Metal Man to compare the differences. So, come on. There we go. Now, I believe, I'm just going to double check this really quick. I don't see it anywhere, but I believe you can't do the, hold down the A button and get the birds to appear instead of stars when you select the Robot Master in the Genesis version. And the NES version, if you hold down the A button when you select the Robot Master in Mega Man 2, you can get birds to appear instead of stars in their, here's the Robot Master, your fighting screen, the but you don't get that in the Genesis version, so... Oh well. Next difference. Once again, Robot Master AIs are different. Another thing to note, even though I won't be taking on Quickman in this version of the game, he is slower in this game than he was in the NES version. Also, you notice in the boss select screen that his horn doesn't extrude out beyond the portrait square. That was originally done in the NES version of the game to signify that Quickman was more of a rival to Mega Man than all the other Robot Masters. But I guess they abandoned that concept in the Genesis port of the game, so his horns don't extrude out past the Robot Master portrait screen. So they used to, but not anymore. You can see it if you take a look at the NES version of the bottom left compared to the Genesis version on the whole rest of the screen. So yeah. Other differences include the Flashman boss fight, a little bit tougher because he takes less damage from the Mega Buster. He used to take 2 damage, now he only takes 1, so yeah. Some themes are a little bit different in this game. You know, Bubble Man's theme's a little bit different, Woodman's theme's a little bit different, but still pretty much the same, just a little bit different. What else? Oh, E-Tanks. In Mega Man 2 for Genesis, if you get a game over, you know, losing all your lives, you don't lose your E-Tanks. When you continue, you actually keep all the E-Tanks you died with. So that's cool. Not so in the NES version of the game. So anyway, Metal Man. Like I said, Robot Master AI is slightly different. It's not that noticeable with Metal Man, but it's there. He is basically a lot more accurate with his metal blades. Not just in shooting them at you, but in shooting them in the areas that you will probably escape to. Like right there. Oh my god, right there too! I couldn't... Usually, with the Metal Man boss fight, I would always jump over all the metal blades, and that, like, 9 times out of 10, I would always be able to dodge them. But now I actually have to be careful about when I jump and when I don't, because the metal blades are very, very frighteningly accurate in the Genesis version of the game compared to the NES version of the game, so yeah. Plus Metal Man, again, doesn't take that much damage from the Mega Buster, so it's a longer fight, and a longer fight means more time to make mistakes. More time to make mistakes, more time to take damage, more time to take damage, more chance of death. So be warned when you fight Metal Man. When you fight all these Robot Masters, that longer boss fights mean greater chance of death. That is the lesson I impart to you today, ladies and gentlemen. Also, this is the first time that my video is in HD, hopefully, at the time of recording this. I'm assuming this is going to be uploaded in HD, because I did all this... I hope I did all the settings correctly. No, I probably did. Yeah, I probably did. It's probably going to come out in HD. If it does, my first HD video! Yay! For all the games that are not 8-bit, I'm going to be trying to go HD. So, yay! It's a new era. Anyway, beat Metal Man. Once again, he thoroughly kicked my ass, but not good enough to beat the Blue Bomber. Yeah, but see, Quick Man's horn doesn't extrude past the portrait, unlike before, so that's the thing. Interesting little nerd thing that only I would notice because Mega Fan Man right here. Alright. Mega Man 2, the PAL version. Slower opening theme. I actually kind of like the fact that this opening theme is slower in the PAL version, because it's very nice. It's very, I don't know, cozy. Is that a word to describe music? Cozy. It feels very cozy, and you know, like I'm being told a story that's expanding out into something bigger and better and more epic than I've ever seen before. Because that's what I feel about with Mega Man. It's a nice story that expands out into something grand and epic, and it's just really cool. But yeah, see, Mega Man 2, also no difficulty select, so get used to playing on hard mode. Oh god, Mega Man 2 is such a good game. Not my favorite one, but a good game. Absolutely a fantastic game. I'm breaking the cardinal sin of commentary. I'm just sitting back and listening to the music. And listening to the music. Oh, but it's just so good. I can't help it. Plus I got new headphones, so it makes listening to the music that much better. Anyway, for the PAL version, we're gonna go after the unbeatable Airman. Yay! Da-da-da, da-da-da. Alright. PAL version. Pretty much what I said for the first Mega Man game. It's slower, so expect expect some lag as you play. Oh, yeah, actually. These weird cloud platform things don't pop up like they did in the NES version. See, in the NES version, they actually had a little animation where they just appeared, like, in a flash of light. But in this one, they're just there, so that's a little less impressive, if I may say so. Music's good, though. I really like it slowed down in the 50 FPS version. It just sounds really good. I mean, I give the PAL version some flack, and overall, I do like the Japanese version with the 60 FPS better, but this isn't bad. This is not that bad. It just feels comfortable, the music, it just, I don't know. I'm not a music aficionado, so I couldn't tell you exactly, but it just feels nice, and I'm gonna say it again, cozy to listen to this music. It's one of the reasons why I love the Mega Man series so much. The music is just so good. It just hooks you and makes you want to keep playing because you want to keep listening to all the music. And then it makes you go out and it makes you want to go out and buy the albums and get the 20th anniversary rock and techno collection, the 25th anniversary rock and techno collection. Those are really good collections. But these fan guys, just as much a pain in the ass in this version as they were in the NES version. Whether it's 50 FPS or 60 FPS, these guys are still jerks. So are the birds. Actually, the birds, a little bit more difficult to shoot down their eggs and time it than it was in the NES version because, again, the timing is kind of off on everything. Mega Man's buster shots are slower and, I want to say, more limited than they were in the NES version. They're not actually that much more limited, but they feel more limited than they were in the NES version of the game. It's strange, but it's just how I feel about it. I just feel it's just more limited. And here, by the way, I'm grinding for a little bit extra health because in a test recording, I actually died to Airman. Airman did prove to be unbeatable, but I got him this time. I don't know if he does more damage in the Genesis version than he does in the NES version, but he's tough. He's tough. I was actually pretty lucky there because all the air was above Mega Buster's shot level, so that's pretty lucky. But yeah, I don't know if Airman does more damage in this version than he does in the NES version. I don't think he does. I think it's still the same amount of damage, but again, the timing of everything just changes so much that it makes it a lot easier for him to kick your ass if you're not quick on the draw. You gotta come in with full health if you're going in with Mega Buster only. War of Attrition. Shoot him as quick as possible. Take him out as quick as you possibly can. Airman boss is short, but he does so much damage that you're just gonna wanna shoot till you win. Anyway, we get the air shooter. Not that we will be hanging around long enough to use it, but there's Dr. Light, and there's new Dr. Light, kind of covered by the NES box on the bottom left, but you see him. He's less Santa Clausy than he was in the NES version of Mega Man 2, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got on Mega Man 2 for Genesis. Let's move on to Rockman 3. First thing you'll notice right off the bat in the title screen, once again, we have the Rockman 3 title music. We had that in the original Rockman game for Genesis, because they had to add something. And now we have it once again for the actual Rockman 3 opening. You'll notice, first of all, we got Mega Man there on the side, posing, unlike in the NES version of the title. It's because the NES version of the title was supposed to have Mega Man there originally, but didn't. I added him there in my playthrough, so I don't know. I did. I added him there, so that's Fuck you, Nah, I guess not fuck you, Capcom. Whatever, I added them there. It's fine. Whatever. Let's get into some differences with Mega Man 3. Well, once again, no surprise, but the Robot Master AIs in Mega Man 3 for Genesis and Mega Man 3 for NES are different. We're going after Magnet Man, by the way, so you'll be seeing some stuff there. Something to note. Oh, come on, what was it? I had it on tip of my tongue. Oh, yeah, Snake Man stage. Those clouds that I was trying to show off the NES version could push you off and kill you, but, you know, by a glitch. I could never actually do it, like I explained in my Mega Man 3 playthrough, but that glitch is completely removed in the Genesis version of the game. You'll actually see that in action when I go after Buster Rod G in the Wily Tower campaign. I'll mention it there again, but they removed that little issue where sometimes the clouds push you off and drop into a bottomless pit. Here's some differences. Proto Man fight. Mega Man actually freezes in place when he falls down. Proto Man's sprite is a little bit different. It's more in tune to what he's going to be looking like in the later games. So, you know, that's cool. Now, I believe the Breakman sprite is also updated. So the Proto Man sprite here is updated a little bit, but the Breakman sprite when he has the Sniper Joe helmet has also been updated just a little bit to look a little bit better. I'm not going to show off that sprite, but I believe it has been updated to look a little bit better, a little bit fresher, a little bit cooler. So if you play Mega Man 3 for Genesis, you know, look forward to seeing an updated version of Breakman when you beat all the Dark Robot Master stages. What else? Oh, yeah. I actually thought this was an issue with my emulator, but it wasn't. See, the weapon select screen has this thing where Rush and I believe most of your weapons are colored blue for some reason. In the NES version of the game, you know, Magnet missiles were red, Search Snake was green, Rush was red, but in the Genesis version of the game, everything that you get on your weapon screen is blue for some, well, maybe not everything, but especially Rush is the big controversial one. It's been painted blue, even though when you actually summon him to you, he's red, so that's a little strange. These reappear and disappear in blocks, by the way, are way tougher to get through in the Genesis version of the game than they were in the NES version of the game. Different physics. Plus those magnets there are actually a lot stronger than they were in the NES version of the game, so it's a lot more difficult to get through. But yeah, see right there? Rush was blue, so he's not blue in the NES version, he's red, as he should be. But anyway, these small differences aside, this is still pretty much Mega Man 3, and Mega Man 2 is still pretty much Mega Man 2, and the original Mega Man is still pretty much the original Mega Man. These are just differences because of, I don't know, different technology limitations that developers had no idea they were working with when they started these projects. So I don't know. But the differences are there, and they cause differences to be experienced when you're playing the games, so, you know. Anyway, Magnet Man. Actually, unlike the other Robot Masters we fought, Magnet Man fights exactly the same as he did in the NES version of the game. Still has both attacks. Actually, the Magnet missiles are a lot easier to dodge in the Genesis version than they are in the NES version. The NES version, they're a lot faster, and they don't pause before they fall down, but in the Genesis version, they do, so, you know. Yay! That's it. Magnet Man is down. I should mention his weapon, the Magnet Missile, is a little bit different than it is in the NES version. See, in the NES version of the game, okay. In the Genesis version, they don't home in correctly on certain enemies. You'll actually be seeing that a bit in the Wily Tower campaign when I use Magnet Missiles, but they don't home in correctly on certain enemies, so it becomes a problem when you're fighting Hardman and Doc Robot Yeah, and Doc Robot versions that are weak to Hardman, so... Yeah, that are weak to Magnet Man. I can do words. I can do the English. I know how to speak. I swear to God I do. Anyway, as we move on to the PAL version of Mega Man 3, some other differences include when you actually get a weapon, Mega Man doesn't teleport in like he does in the NES version. He's just there already, creepily waiting to receive his upgrade. The Wily Castle map screen has been shortened from its original tune, so, you know, I had to edit, back in the original Mega Man 3 playthrough, I had to edit in the the full Wily Castle map theme. They just completely don't have it here in the Genesis version. They just intentionally make it short, so, you know, don't expect to hear the full Wily Castle map theme in the Genesis version of the game, because you're not. It's not even in the game code anywhere, so, you know, you're just going to be hearing the short version, like the NES version, although the NES version actually has the full, complete, long version that I incorporated into my Mega Man 3 playthrough, so, haha, take that, Capcom. Not really. What else? Is there any other differences that I did not mention? Oh, at the very end of the game. You know, at the very end of the game, when you beat Dr. Wily and Gamma and all that good stuff and everything starts crashing around you, that Proto Man jumps in and saves the day, but it's just a shadow of Proto Man saying, "Oh no, where's Dr. Wily? Oh, too late, blah, 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 blah." You really get plenty of time to save Dr. Wily if you wanted to. But, in the Genesis version of the game, it's not a shadowy sprite, it's just the regular Proto Man sprite that we're going to be fighting in Hard Man stage right here, and that we already fought in Magna Man stage. But, for some reason, in the code, that sprite is there. Just Capcom didn't use it for... I don't know why. For some reason. Anyway, what else? Mega Man 3 has a lot more differences than Mega Man 1 and 2. Oh! The traps here in Hard Man stage. Yeah, that's the next thing. They're faster than they were in the original Mega Man 3. They're a lot slower in the original Mega Man 3. You have plenty of time to jump, which makes Wily Castle Stage 2 very easy. But they're a lot faster in this game, so, you know. Beware of the bear traps. Monkeys are a lot easier to deal with. Although that's due to the 50 FPS rather than the Genesis version being slower or anything, even though it is slower. But the 50 FPS of the PAL version does help in some certain things. Like the bear traps that I mentioned were faster. They are faster, but in the 50 FPS version of the game, it doesn't really matter if they're faster or not, you know? Oh, shit. Oh, I gotta stop making such long videos. But I'm never gonna learn my lesson. I mean, part 2 of the Wily Tower campaign is 49 minutes, and this is 41 minutes, so... You know what? That's another thing I wanted to mention. Those Met Tools. Those Met Tools are... I don't understand. In every version except the NES version, those Met Tools on the thing that ride the machine that I can't name because I'm stupid. I don't know what the name of that machine is. Not a tractor. Some kind of construction machine. I don't know. But for some reason they stop when they move. It's so weird that it does that in this game and Mega Man 2 for Game Boy. Every version except for the NES version of the game. Those Met Tools on the thing, the yellow thing that I can't name because I'm still stupid, stops when it I don't know. It's so weird. And I don't know if it's just the PAL version either, because I didn't test this in the Japanese version. But if it turns out it's that way too in the Japanese version, I'm gonna be I don't get it. I don't get it. Every version except the NES version, those things stop. And Mega Man 2 for Game Boy. In this game, they... whatever. Anyway, Proto Man fight. Still difficult in Hard Man stage, because of the uneven terrain. But yeah, not much to say on the Proto Man fight. What you'd expect. these jumping enemies here are actually a lot easier in the PAL version than they are in the Japanese version. You'll see when we get to the Wily Tower campaign that I play fully on the 60 FPS Japanese version, but very difficult to take out really quick in the Japanese version. They're really fast, whereas in the PAL version they're slow, like in the NES version. So they're pretty easy to take out. Anyway, Hard Man. Last robot I'm taking on. Last robot I'm showing off in this part. If you want to play the full game yourself, you know, I don't know, just download the ROM. I know it's less than legal means, but you know what? This game isn't out on market anywhere else. It actually used to be on the Sega Channel for the Sega Saturn, I believe, was the one that had the Sega Channel. Or no, the Sega Dreamcast was the one that had the Sega Channel. It'll let you play get some stuff from online, which is pretty revolutionary for its time. Anyway, this actually used to be out on the Sega Channel, which was pretty much the PAL version, but 60 FPS. So I couldn't actually get my hands on the Sega Channel version of the game, unfortunately, so this is why you're getting the comparison between Japanese 50 FPS and PAL 60 FPS. Yay, how things work out. Anyway, we beat Hard Man. If you want to play the full games yourself, you know, find them online. They're fun. They're a great way to experience the first 3 Mega Man games despite their differences. Yeah, they're a great way to experience the first 3 Mega Man games despite their differences and pace differences that the NES version does not suffer from, but the Genesis version does suffer from. Despite the lag, despite the pace differences, besides the speed of the shots, besides other small things that are in all 3 of the Mega Man games, it's not bad. Anyway, next time, we're actually going to be going through some new content. Yay, as I try to speak. Next time, we're going to take on the epilogue of the first 3 Mega Man games, Mega Man: The Wily Tower. See you then. Have a good day.